Well, there's a lot of sadness all the time, you know, because every day you came back, but they didn't. It was bad news, you know. Charlie never come back, Tom never come back. Peter parachuted into the channel.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Tall Stephen Paul. Today we're going to be doing part 3 of my conversation with Mr. Harry Cullip. He was a World War II British fighter pilot with the Royal Air Force. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, leave a comment, leave a question, share it with a friend or even a veteran. And if you subscribe to Tall Stephen Paul, that would be great. I would appreciate it. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when new videos are uploaded. All right, let's get to it. Part 3.
This might be kind of contradictory, but what would be the best experience of the war for you?
The first one I shot down. The first thing. Hey, I made it! And I no longer a green pea. I've got something back there. Yeah, that's it. I think that would be the best one.
As a rush.
Or unless you want to say meeting my wife, if you like, because that's what I heard during the war. We got married in '46, but I met her actually during the war.
How did you meet, or where?
Well, if I tell you, I'll tell you, but I don't want it on that because she doesn't believe me. She still won't. Yeah. I'm not going to put it on tape, okay? Because she just will not believe me.
If you could explain the picture again and just whatever you told me earlier about the jet on there.
Well, of course, at the beginning, of course, it was a matter of plane against plane. The bomber boys, they were not only plane against plane, but they had all the anti-aircraft against them as well. Really, we didn't get any anti-aircraft against us because we were stationed and stayed in England because of our short range. The Hurricane, which was surprising enough you never hear about, shot down more planes than the Spitfires ever did. Same engine, same basic design really, but the wings were different. But it was combat. It was combat, a man against a man in a plane against a plane. And of course Hitler was not getting anywhere. So he designed what he called, or he didn't design it, but his people did, the V1, Victory 1. It was going to give him victory by bringing the English public to their knees. We called it a buzz bomb because it had a very strange buzzing noise as it went along. Or the doodlebug. Well, there's another name we called it. Basically what it was,
Yeah, go ahead.
okay. Basically what it was a streamlined aircraft body with wings and a tail. No pilot. But it had a ton of TNT in the nose. And it had a jet. First time we saw it, I'll tell you about the first time I saw it in a moment. And it was launched on rail tracks, narrow gauge rail tracks, by compressed air. There were 81 of these sites to launch these along the coast, pointed to England. And it flew, as you can see. That was only about 1,000 feet. It was 1,000, 2,000 feet, maybe 3,000 feet. We never stopped to measure it. And we initially met them head on because they were coming our way, and we'd shoot at them, and there was no evasion. And they were controlled by 3 gyroscopes, to keep it on course for England. And the moment the fuel ran out, it just dived down the trajectory of a stone or a bomb from 1,000, 2,000 feet. We brought a lot of them down, but we got damaged ourselves by the TNT exploding in our faces. Because you've got to be a certain distance away from an aircraft before your bullets can go, because you've got that.
Right.
You've got your guns up, don't fire straight ahead, like that.
converge.
Yeah, you've got a meeting point, and that's where the plane has to be. That's why you use sight. So in the end, what we were doing, and the aircraft, was not bringing them down the numbers we wanted, although the coastline was ringed by them. So towards the end, we used aircraft to bring them down. Basically, what we did, we'd fly alongside of them. That's His Royal Highness me in there. Actually, that's why I got this picture.
Is that an actual photograph?
Beautiful one. You'd fly alongside of them, and you'd upset the gyro by flipping your wing under his wing and dropping him in the countryside. Wonderful. The wings were not strengthened. This was only a very, very light aircraft. I mean, there was nothing there. And that's where the American jet came from. What was it, a 52? 262, I think it is. The jet the Germans had. If he'd have spent more time on those jets and forgot about them, it may have been a different story.
So it was one-shot deal.
But the same with the jet. You've got one chance. If you overshoot, it's going to take you 10 miles to come back again, and the guy you were shooting at's gone. I know that. So if you put this aircraft against that jet with a pilot, this aircraft has got to be best, because he can stall, he can slow down, he can turn easier. But nowadays, of course, you don't even need a pilot. All you need is an aircraft with a button and someone's back garden. You don't need fighter pilots anymore.
Not as much.
So that's initially called V1, nicknamed Doodlebug or Buzzworm. And the first time I met it was a Saturday afternoon. I was home with my parents, because the airfield I was flying from was only 5-10 miles away. I was really lucky. Use the term lucky, because that's those days, not now. And I did my best reading sitting in the smallest room in the house. You comprehend what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sitting on the throne, reading. And did the same thing this morning before I left the house. Sat on the throne and
Some
read.
things don't change, huh? Some things never change.
No. You're not disturbed, are you? Because nobody's going to come see what you're reading.
My dad would read the whole Sunday paper.
Anyway, there was, all of a sudden I heard, the windows were wide open, I heard sound or something like that. And I turned and looked out the window and I went, what the heck is that? I didn't say heck, okay? And I went, oh, sugar. It wasn't coming directly for me, but it wasn't going to miss me by much. And it must have been an excess of fuel, because normally they didn't get that far in there, when it hit London. And then the engine quit, and it landed 5 houses from where I was sitting. Well, you asked me earlier on about fear. I had the biggest clear out I've ever had in my life. Man, it just... You've probably heard the phrase, his pants or whatever. I mean, when somebody gets their neck broken. But I experienced that, man. And the English houses are built of bricks and stones, and I've seen bombs come down and take that house out, and this house is solid. Terrace houses. But those things were deadly. Then they designed the V2, which was the beginning of the rockets of today, and that just used to go straight up, 5,000 miles an hour, straight down. That was a huge rocket. That's what Werner Braun, or whatever his name was, he designed those rockets, and it's now, I don't know if he's alive or dead. He put the American rocket program on the map when he was captured after the war.
I've heard some of those.
But you know, anybody that tries to glorify, that's why I turn down people to go and talk. Because I don't want to glorify what I did and what happened. There's a lot of fun there, a lot of camaraderie. The English people lived virtually in holes for 4 years. Everybody that had a garden was given, you know, the metal they use in the Quonset huts, it's ribbed, okay? Depending on the size of family, you were either given 6 of those or 8 of those, and you dug a hole in the ground. You dug a hole in the ground, and you put half of the metal in the ground, and the curve was all joined together like that, and on the end you had, that was completely flat, and this one was open, and you put turf, sod as you call it, in front of it, and as soon as you were finished at the night time with your early meal, if they hadn't already got there, you didn't wait for the siren to go, you went into the pit, into your safety. And that's why Terry's family lost 3 homes completely, but they weren't damaged. You never knew what you were going to come up from that hole in the ground. But it saved thousands of lives, hundreds of thousands of lives, those bombs. Because you had to be a real direct hit on that strength. Because those Quonset huts, I mean, they're still standing from World War I. But they're rusty, but they're still standing.
Amazing.
And then where you didn't have a shelter like that, take London itself, people lived in the subway system. There were beds along all the stations in the English subway. And so every night they go down there to take their stuff with them, pick their pitch, and they were singing and dancing and real camaraderie, but they never knew what had come up to find out. War is not fun, although a lot of fun happened in the wartime. There was one particular time, one of the bases near where I was, it was, I think I can't remember offhand now, but the Poles and the Czechs were there. They were flying over there. Now in this particular town called Barkingside, there was one main street this way and another semi-main street that way, very, very wide, probably 6-lane traffic, unusual in England. And also all the buildings were about 8, 10, 12 stories high. And running down the main drag was trolley wires, electric wires, so the buses could go. But England had, excuse me, the South African cancelled order for double-decker buses there, and they'd run down that main drag, get up the end and turn around. Well, these idiots, because they were idiots, and I flew along with them sometimes, but only to a certain degree, they used to come down this one, the semi, when they shot something down, because you do a barrel roll with it, AI1, they come down and they'd fly underneath those trolley wires. They couldn't see if anything was coming. To my knowledge, none of them ever hit a bus. And then they'd go up the other side and roll and go half a mile and then. No way, Jose. I was crazy, but I wasn't that crazy. I flew a few bombing missions towards the end of the war. We wanted to fight it. Nobody got that far. They didn't come anymore.
The Spitfires during bombing missions or the bombers?
The Spitfires. I mean,
the
Germans just stayed away. We had control of the air. They used to come over, but not very often. So I used to, with my rank, I was able to go down and sleep a right seat in a bomber. And I went on a few of them. They were very, very tedious because the flak was horrendous. And the fighters were there too.
They were running out of fuel by the end of the war too, weren't they?
Excuse me?
They were running out of fuel and couldn't fly as much and...
Well, in and around, of course, yeah, but when we couldn't go that far because the Spitfire didn't have the time. The P-51 was a fabulous aircraft, your Mustang. It flew with the bombers. And that's what the Tuscany Airmen used to fly. And they never lost a bomber in the whole time those black dudes flew. And I think that's a fabulous record for second-class citizens, as they were classified in those days.
Right.
They weren't even allowed to use the same bus or drink from the same fountain. But they proved their point. They've become the best fighter squadron in the war. I believe so, anyway.
I believe so.
I believe so.